We're back to Neil Haley Show. I'm excited to welcome the program author Robert P. Wills. Also, he's an entrepreneur, inventor, and also I guess the co-host of my show now. We're going to be doing some really cool stuff. But Robert, thanks for stopping by. And our topic today is a new book coming out, a science fiction book called Area 46. So give us some previews of what that's all about.
Yeah, it's kind of a Men in Black meets James Bond sort of story. I've got aliens here on Earth who are working with an elite force using alien ships, and they're fighting against the Greys. You know, you always hear about the Greys, the tall aliens being everywhere, and that's who they're actually fighting. So I've got they're flying using alien crafts and dealing with these Greys as they're causing problems throughout the world.
That's wild. So this science fiction. Are you an Area 51 fan then?
I kind of am. I've been out to Roswell, and the story came about because I went out to my uncle's house in Pahrump and Nevada to help him out. And as we were driving home, and I was driving, he pointed over his shoulder and said, "Area 51's out that direction." And I said, "Oh, that's neat." And he's kind of a character. He's 86, and he pointed the other way and he said, "I guess Area 1 to 50 are on that side of the road." And I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. Does that mean there's other areas? There have to be other areas. There's a 51. So I started writing about this Area 46 and their interactions with aliens, because all of them deal with aliens.
Oh, wow. Okay. And is this the first of this series, Area 46? This will be the first book you've written on that.
I'm hoping it will be the first of the series of the Area 46 fighter wing. And it's kind of a Rogue Warrior sort of thing, or Rogue One sort of thing, where they're dealing with aliens in different settings. And I've got a good group of pilots that I'm working with, characters, that is. So I think I'll be able to send them on different adventures to different places. So I think it's really going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a fun series as it gets going on.
Let's talk about the time period now, Robert. What time period does this take place in?
Oh, this is modern times. It's happening right now. The guy who gets Jared Dacon, who gets recruited into the Area 46. He's a Navy SEAL. He just came back from an operation out in the Middle East, and he gets hired into this. And because the aliens they're working with are aquatic, they're octopus looking, they tend to pick Navy SEALs and divers because the ships are filled with water, because that's what the octopus live in. So they deal with Navy SEALs and divers as their pilots for these ships.
All right. So this is so intriguing. Let's go right into alien fans. Do you believe that there's life not on this planet? Do you believe in aliens?
Yeah, absolutely. There has to be. I mean, just the odds involved with the number of stars and planets that are out there. And then it's funny, the government comes out and says, well, maybe we have some pictures of alien aircraft. And it's funny, they came out in the news and said that. So it's really kind of an interesting topical kind of.
So you're definitely believing UFOs, disclosure, some of these other things. Do you read any of those things and go into some of these conspiracists of the UFOs?
I've read some of them. Some of them I'm not too sure about. Some of the abduction stories I'm not too sure about. But I mean, there has to be other life in the universe. I mean, it's just too big for there to only be one planet, ours, in this solar system that has life.
Yeah, the MUFON. You ever read anything on MUFON and all that? You ever heard?
No, I haven't. No.
Look into MUFON and all these. This is a huge network of people loving this stuff, so they'll probably be intrigued by this. But Area 51, will we ever find out the truth of Area 51?
Yeah, it's crazy. You can drive up to the gate, and we've done that. Did that with my uncle. We rented a Jeep for a day, and but that's as close as you can get to it. And I'd be afraid to try to sneak around the gate. But yeah, they stay pretty tight-lipped out there. It is kind of fun.
Are you even allowed to film? Do they let you film on area? I mean, at the gate or not?
You can't outside, but like all military installations, they don't allow filming within it. And the guards get kind of, I mean, and being ex-military, I can kind of talk military with the guards, which is nice. But they've got their line that they won't cross with. They're not going to let just.
So did you try to get in? Did you try to get into Area 51?
Well, we chatted with the guards. I mean, because you can drive up to it, but and you really don't want to be. You don't want to be that guy that tries to rush the gate or cause an altercation. So it's friendly. We were out just tooling around in the desert in the Jeep, and we stopped and looked around. So
give me a history of Area 51 for you as a historian of Area 51. I don't know a lot, but how did that start? How did the buzz start of Area 51?
Well, it started because that's where they were doing their testing. And it's funny, the name comes from another project they have. It has nothing to do with where it's located or that there's other locations. It's just there was a Project 51, and when they moved out there, they just named it Area 51 because of I think it was a plutonium project they were working on. But that's where they do a lot of test flights of aircraft. It's really out in the middle of nowhere, so they can go out there and fly their stealth fighters and test performances and not really have to worry about anyone seeing them because it's just a vast open area. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of Nevada that's just completely unpopulated that they're able to, fly over.
Wow, that's crazy. And it's like flying over and you're like, what's going on here? And and all that. And what press started the whole buzz? Do you remember?
What's that?
The press of Area 51, where
yeah, they had when they had the reports of an alien spacecraft crashing back in the 50s, and yeah, and that kind of got out, and then of course they go with government goes, oh, it's just a weather balloon, which is completely an unbelievable story. And in fact, I mentioned that in my book. The commander of Area 46 says, no, we have the fighter jets there. Those guys can't even keep a single crash out of the news. That's why you've never heard about us. So there's a lot of competition between the different areas out there in the desert.
It's just crazy where you come up with this stuff, Robert. I mean, what made you say becoming an author? Just retirement said I had to do it?
Well, I was writing while I was still in the military. I started writing for my kids. I would write them kids stories, and I used to make little pop-up books for them. And I started doing that with the kids. Tilly the squirrel would go on adventures, and it kind of just expanded from that. As they got older, the stories got, more mature. Instead of Tilly the squirrel, I'd have, kids going to the beach, and a mystery on the beach, sandcastles, that sort of thing. So it, short stories for the kids kind of expanded into finally writing the gnome stories for the kids is how that kind of came about.
That's crazy stuff. And when do you expect Area 56 to be out? 46.
Area 46, I'm hoping it'll be out by next November. I'm hoping within a year I'll have that out. So,
within a year, okay. Your next book coming out is coming out in November, and what's that one?
It's the November 22nd, I think it is. It's being edited right now, and that's a pirate story. It's a rollicking adventure. You got a pirate going after some Spanish treasure here in the Caribbean. It takes place in the 1780s, is what that does, and it's fairly accurate. There's no fantasy involved in that. There's no pirate curses or ghosts or anything. It's a straightforward, like Masters and Commanders. It's a real story about ships and their capabilities.
All right. Well, we appreciate it, Robert. Thanks again for stopping by.
Thank you.
You're listening and watching The Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in just a moment.